they'd say, well, let me tell you a little bit about why Dandy might be upset. Because Dandy was a brilliant man, grew up in South Carolina, in the South, and he was one of the many millions of black folks who migrated north in hopes of getting jobs, but couldn't get a job. He was smart. He should have gone to college. He probably should have been a professor. But that was the plight of black men and still is today.
Yes.
In a culture of racism and inequality where a lot of people don't get the opportunity even if they have the skill. And what my parents helped me to realize is that there's something that happens to a man, a person, who knows deep inside that they are more than what their opportunities allow them to be. And for Dandy, it bubbled up in a discontent that he couldn't shake. And I was taught to understand this about my grandfather very early on so that I could have the compassion and the empathy for him. Because as I said, what's important in this book is context. And I try to put context in this book because everybody's life has context. There's context. You can't judge somebody or know somebody just based on their actions. You have to know the full breadth of their experiences. And my parents taught me that.
What I got from it is whether it was Robbie downstairs or Dandy or many other people that you mentioned in the book, that a lot of people are carrying their own broken dreams.
Absolutely.
And when people are carrying their broken dreams, you have to make room for their broken dreams. But I thought, so often you get in conversations, particularly with white people who have said to me when I was doing shows on racism, like, that was then, what do we have to do with slavery? I wasn't there then. Your explanation of what happens to a family that isn't allowed to have the opportunities, I think is, puts it in
just
context.
think of what networking opportunities, what additional information, what exposure I missed because my grandfathers didn't have the opportunity. And still, here I am. And this is one of the things why I want people to know the rawness of my story, especially young girls, is because I was that kid that didn't have networks, didn't have grandfathers with trust funds and big fancy names, and that doesn't define who you are. It didn't define them. Sadly, they didn't know that. They didn't have the opportunity, the love, and the support that I had. That's what they
That's why they were working so hard to make sure you had it.
That's why they worked so hard to change our lot. And that's one thing I understood, that when I saw my grandparents and heard their sacrifice, my notion was, oh, little girl, you better get that star.
Yeah.
Because they're counting on you to get that star.
Yeah. It's what Maya Angelou used to say, you've been paid for.
Yeah.
You've been paid for. And then when you were 10 years old,